Do you think Donald Trump is thinking about the consequences for the millions of women who will be living in medical deserts? Does anyone think he has the emotional maturity and foresight to come up with a plan to protect us?
Well, Michelle, I am so glad you asked that question, because we're going to go over several ways that the Trump administration has worked to protect women and to bolster women motherhood and to respect women in this country, to show far more respect to women than the previous administration ever did, despite us being expected to celebrate the first vice president. I see little reason to do that because nothing was accomplished. But before we get into this topic, I would love it if you would please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel. I am trying to grow this channel and I appreciate your guys' support so much in doing that. Before we get into this topic, tomorrow is Mother's Day, so this is your cue to run out to get a card, to get flowers, and send them to your grandma, your mom, your sister, or your wife, in case the little detail that moms are being celebrated tomorrow slipped your mind. It's okay. It's okay. We're all busy. It happens. So you're welcome. But let's get into some of the things that has happened in the Trump administration that you will never, ever, ever, ever hear from the media, because Orange Man bad. Now, the first clip I want to play, this is from a White House press briefing where media personality, public figure Link Lauren was one of the new media people to take a seat in the White House press briefing. And he specifically asked this question of Karoline Leavitt on, how she feels about being an example of families and of women in the country, how she feels about being an example of people and young families that are trying to recover from the last 4 years and balance family and work life, and also what the overall Trump administration's view on young families are, as everybody is noticing that there seems to be a higher number of kids with presence in the White House these days, because he is employing a lot of people that do have little kids, a lot of young families, which is really nice to see. So unfortunately, all I could do was find this clip on the Young Turks channel where they were pretty much mocking Link for asking this question. But I think it highlights the fact that, again, people are noticing that the Trump administration is bolstering the most important role that any of us could take on, which is to be a parent in the most free country on the planet with the most opportunity.
One thing I've noticed in the first 100 days is that the White House is crawling with kids. You have a young, beautiful baby boy. There are babies everywhere. There's so many young folks on staff who have kids. But the last 4 years under Joe Biden, parents were really stressed and ravaged. They had to take on 2 or 3 extra jobs. Depression rates were up. Suicide rates were up. You're a very high-profile young mother who seems to juggle and balance it all beautifully. What advice do you have to young parents out there who are starting their careers, having kids, building families, and trying to find that balance so desperately?
Unfortunately, in searching the internet, I have not been able to find Karoline Leavitt's answer to this question, even though I did hear it in a clip and I cannot find it anywhere. But she basically said how much the Trump administration truly values women and values family and wants to have these opportunities open to them. And she also talked about the comprehensive view of what it means to support women and families in this country. Because as we've heard repeatedly from Democrats, is that we absolutely had to have paid family leave. And one of the main talking points of the Democrats that Kamala Harris ran on entirely, and that her entire campaign was based on, is that women would only be able to achieve these positions or pretty much achieve anything is if they had access to the opportunity to get rid of their unborn babies. And what Karoline is talking about here is the economic moves that Trump is making to bring back jobs to this country, to deport criminal gang members in this country, to make our community safer, to address the education concerns that we have, because despite the fact that we have this Department of Education, our kids' education has slowly gone downhill. So he has worked to dismantle the Department of Education and separate all of these areas of education, whether it be the curriculum, whether it be the funding, whether it be the food, into different areas to be managed on a more personal level, and to make sure those needs are addressed, and to return a lot of those rights to the state. And also to amplify and to bolster and support the rights of parents to raise their kids in their belief by getting rid of a lot of this indoctrination, whether it be trans ideology, whether it be feminism, whether it be DEI from the education system, and to get back to focusing on education. So there was also this picture circulating on social media of Karoline Leavitt sitting in her office, bottle feeding her baby / toddler and getting some work done at the same time. And to me, that is truly inspiring. Obviously, this is not something that we can expect from all employers, but I think it just highlights the fact that when conservatives talk about empowering women, we want to see more opportunities and we want to normalize motherhood. We want to recognize the challenges that women face and to not minimize those things. And above this, it's clear that the liberal mindset towards motherhoods is completely the opposite. It says it's so weird how many people in this administration use their children as props. It's not normal to take your infant to work in the effing White House every day. Nobody does that. It might not be normal, but maybe it should be. And if women do have the opportunity to do that, why would we discourage that? Another way that this White House is elevating women that you will not see in the media. In this post by Karoline Leavitt, she says, "Today, our beautiful FLOTUS hosted a reception honoring military mothers. This was one of my favorite events at the White House yet. The military band put on an extraordinary performance for a room full of heroes, women who have not only answered the call of motherhood, but also to serve our country in uniform. God bless them." I'd say that falls in stark contrast to this and all of this. Just to bring back our friend Kamala Harris again, there is something that she said that I wholeheartedly agree with that ties into this conversation.
Well, first, it's very important that anyone who presents themselves as a leader and wants to be a leader will speak like a leader, and that means speaking with integrity. It means speaking truth. It means speaking in a way that expresses and indicates some level of interest and concern in people other than oneself.
I completely agree, Kamala Harris. Let's actually get to this breaking news that was just dropped a couple of days ago that, again, the media will never tell you. And this debunks the narrative that we constantly hear from the left, that people on the right, particularly who are anti getting rid of your unborn baby and who supposedly want to force women to be mothers, that we are only pro-birth, that we don't actually care what happens to kids after they are born, especially in a difficult situation. And there are any number of situations that you can look at and movements and levels of activism on the right that you can look at that completely debunk that would take about 8 seconds of research. Namely, the fact that there are countless pregnancy help centers in this country, countless that are run by volunteers and run by people who actually want to see mothers succeed. This was dropped, like I said, a couple of days ago, and it says Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt just said Melania Trump secured $25 million to provide housing support for kids coming out of foster care.
Finally, it was announced this morning that First Lady Melania Trump secured a $25 million investment in President Trump's budget to provide housing and support for youth transitioning out of foster care. And in recognition of the 7th anniversary of Mrs. Trump's Be Best initiative, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development allocated funds toward the agency Foster Youth to Independence program. Yesterday, Mrs. Trump hosted a special celebration of military mothers with the president, bringing together 150 military moms from around the country to recognize their service, not just in their home, but for our country.
All right, Libs, let's hear it. Tell me why you're mad about that. Tell me why this is anti-woman. Tell me why this is just something that Trump is doing to make himself look better. Tell me how he doesn't really mean it, that this is all just a show, that it's not sincere. Oh yeah, on that note, The media, of course, likes to consistently push the message that Trump is a selfish person, that he is only doing this for himself, to benefit himself. But again, it takes about 8 seconds of research. You can even use an AI tool like ChatGPT or Grok, something that makes your search significantly more simple, that even a Harvard graduate could do it. She's debunking the idea that Trump is only in it for himself and all of the ways that this man has actually been damaged in the work that he has done politically.
You noted he is a successful businessman. Do you know if the president has any plans to meet with any of the folks involved with any of the family businesses over there, or see any of the sites that are going to be new Trump?
Not to my knowledge, and let me just get to the premise of your question that both of you have raised. I think it's frankly ridiculous that anyone in this room would even suggest that President Trump is doing anything for his own benefit. He left a life of luxury and a life of running a very successful real estate empire for public service, not just once, but twice. And again, the American public reelected him back to this White House because they trust he acts in the best interest of our country and putting the American public first. This is a president who has actually lost money for being president of the United States. I don't remember these same type of questions being asked of my predecessor about a career politician who was clearly profiting off of this office. That is not what President Trump does. And this White House holds ourselves to the highest of ethical standards.
But I'm sure it's just all a show from Karoline Leavitt too, right? I'm sure if we go behind the scenes and ask her questions about what it's really like working for dictator Trump, the big bad orange man who hates women, that she will tell us the truth, that you will see in her eyes that she's just not being honest, that you will see the lack of sincerity in how she talks about her job and the challenges that come with it. And you will see this energy about her that demonstrates that she truly wants to escape and that she is being held hostage and against her will, and that she really is being denied all of her choices in the role that she has taken. Let's have a listen.
Now, advice for young women who are thinking about a career in media or politics or government. What's your best advice for them?
I always give the same 3 pieces of advice because I think they ring true no matter what you do or who you are. Number 1, no substitute for hard work. You have to work your ass off.
Yep.
Show up early, stay late, say yes to every opportunity your boss presents you, and just be confident. Number 2, take advantage of every single opportunity. Even if you don't want to do something, just do it because you'll learn a lesson either way.
Mm-hmm.
And then thirdly, be nice to everyone you meet because your intern one day could be your boss. So don't burn bridges in DC. It's too small of a town.
I just want to stop right there. I did notice that she did not say anything about skin color. She did not say anything about America being sexist. She just gave advice that applies to you regardless of your background, regardless of your ethnicity, regardless of your religion. These are the things that you need to do if you want to pursue pretty much any career. Be nice to people, say yes to new opportunities, challenge yourself, and raise the bar for yourself consistently every single day, and think that you can do more than you did the previous day. I think that's a recipe for success for anybody, but I love the advice that she is giving women in particular, and none of it has to do with you're going to be held back by working for a man or working around men or working in a society that is patriarchal or working in an industry that is dominated by men. Weird.
Are you having fun? Are you having any fun in the middle of this? Is this on a daily basis? Is it fun, exhausting, edifying, a combination?
All of the above. But genuinely, we are having so much fun. I think you see that with the president. He is having the time of his life, saving the country. And as we were just talking about, he is hilarious. He has the best sense of humor. He keeps us all laughing every day.
I thought he wasn't pro-women. Wasn't that what the Democrats said?
I think this administration is the most pro-women. Look at our chief of staff, the first female chief of staff in U.S. history. She's amazing.
It's good stuff. And good luck next week. Thanks for spending.
I think we're all getting the idea here that Trump being against women is completely false. And what it means to support women is a much more comprehensive picture than just whether or not they have a baby at an inconvenient time in their lives and need to be able to terminate that pregnancy. There is an economic stability that is needed, the safety of our streets, getting rid of people that are dangerous to women. Just ask Rachel Morin's, Jocelyn Nungare's, or Laken Riley's family. And to me, there is a direct contradiction to saying that you are pro-woman and simultaneously flying across the country to advocate for an MS-13 gang member who has charges on his record of beating his actual wife multiple times. So yeah, that doesn't really work out so well. But it's not just about supporting women who are mothers. It's making families normal again. It's normalizing a family environment again. It's advocating for a message that has been pushed down heavily by the left over the last probably couple of decades, but definitely over the last several years, which is that family is oppressive, which is that America does not support families, which is that children are a burden, which is that children are an afterthought, which is that we don't have ways to support families other than, again, pregnancy termination access. I have to be sensitive about how I phrase things on YouTube. There are so many ways that this administration is elevating women, elevating wives, elevating mothers, that obviously are going to completely debunk every single thing that we heard from the last campaign, from the Democrat campaign in the fall, which is, again, basically that this administration would be the worst place for women, children, and families if Trump were to get back into office. And that is completely proving to be false. But in case there are any liberals in my comments who are trying to find the worst in every possible message that comes from the Trump administration, I can put your minds at ease, and at least that you know he hasn't done the federal abortion ban, because he never was going to. And that was a talking point being pushed by liberals to scare you into voting for them. It hasn't happened. It's not going to happen. So if that is your definition of women's rights, you can sleep at night knowing that you still have that right in this country. But I would love to hear all of your thoughts on this in the comments below. Please, again, be sure to hit the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel. I am trying to grow this channel. I appreciate all of your support in doing so. Again, be sure to run out and get a card and flowers for the women in your lives and let them know how much you love them, that you appreciate them and the work that they do and the value that they have in society. Other than that, keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.